Today on Who is That Saint? Meet a woman so fierce, so faithful, and so wildly inconvenient to the powers that be. She bossed around kings and popes before the age of 33. Saint Catherine of Siena was born in 1347 in Siena, Italy. The 23rd of 25 children. Yeah, you heard that right. Even as a kid she was different. At 6 years old she saw a vision of Jesus wearing the papal tiara. By age 7 she consecrated herself to Christ. By 12 she refused marriage proposals and fought bitterly with her family to live a life of prayer and service. She eventually joined the Third Order of Saint Dominic, meaning she lived outside a convent but under a religious rule, sort of a medieval lay Dominican powerhouse. Then things got crazy. Catherine couldn't read or write until later in life, but that didn't stop her from becoming a theological giant. She dictated letters, prayers, and eventually an entire spiritual treatise, the Dialogue. Her fame spread across Italy, not because she sought it but because holiness has a way of leaking out. But Catherine wasn't interested in a cozy prayer life. She waded into the filth of politics. She wrote letters to kings, queens, and even the Pope demanding reforms in both church and state. At the time the papacy was a mess. The Pope lived in Avignon, France, not Rome. Catherine all but dragged him back to Rome with her letters, her prayers, and eventually a personal visit. Imagine being a barely educated, unmarried 20-something woman, telling the most powerful man in Christendom, "Hey, get back to your real throne and do your job." And he listened. But it wasn't all politics. Catherine cared for plague victims, nursed the poor, brokered peace between warring factions, and still found time to have deep mystical visions of Christ. She endured physical suffering, spiritual attacks, misunderstandings, betrayals, and through it all remained wildly in love with Jesus. Catherine died at just 33 years old, exhausted from her constant fasting and physical penances. Yet her influence only grew. In 1970, Pope Paul VI named her a Doctor of the Church, one of only 4 women to receive the title. Holiness isn't passive. Catherine shows us that love is not silent. Sometimes saints kick the world in the teeth, for its own good. Quote of the day: "Be who God meant you to be and you will set the world on fire." Saint Catherine of Siena.